Hi everyone. What I'm wanting to share in this video is the checklist that I made for my website. It's the decision making and goal setting checklist. These are the steps that I go through when I'm thinking about a project and working out if it's viable and if I'm going to follow through and actually do it. I thought this might help some of you when you're thinking through of other things going on in your own life, and as a skill be able to help you. So the first part is defining what the desired outcome is. And honestly, it virtually could be anything. Most of the time these are going to have some type of practical end to it. Maybe as simple as cleaning, or it might be more complex where you're considering moving. So you want to well define what it is that you're aiming to do. And then the next part of this is from start to finish, what are the detailed steps needed to accomplish this? So over the next 2 to 3 days, I normally will make a list, usually on the computer, so I can insert blank lines and keep expanding it so that I essentially have a blueprint of what I need to do from start to finish, and could have a master list of steps to complete. And then what happens with my physical disability is I'll start at the top, and maybe I get to step B on day 1 and say F on day 2. The page is remembering what needs to be done, and there's an order to it that's been thought about it and makes legitimate sense. So for each step, there's 4 things that I consider. Is this something I'm able to do myself? That is, do I need a friend, a colleague, classmate, or to hire someone to complete a specific step? What materials are needed? So if I'm building something, like when I was working on my weather station last summer, what materials are going to be needed? Like the computer, building materials, so wood, metal, wire, or if this is craft oriented, what supplies or seeds are needed for working in the garden? And then what tools are needed? So power tools like a drill press or a saw, a sewing machine if it's crafts. For working in the kitchen, what kitchen appliances, or gardening, what garden tools are needed? And then how much time will be required to complete each step? So you want to be able to know that if this is my project, I need to be able to designate, maybe it's 5 hours, but going through each step and sort of figuring that something will take 10 minutes and 40 minutes and 15 minutes, so that you've got a rough idea of what you need to commit to in order to have your project go from start to finish. At this point, normally I let it sit for a day or 2 and just want to come back to it fresh again. So this is getting into the 5th day, and that step is to critically review the list for viability. And looking through everything that's been compiled, asking yourself if the effort required is doable, if it's worthwhile, and is it going to have my attention through to completion? So you need to be honest with yourself if it's something that you're going to be able to do or do with help. And then if it's do with help, then it needs to be more than theoretical. You need to have either a person lined up or know who you're going to call to hire them for a specific portion of your project. So let's say you're doing something with your cars. Well, it's easy enough to unscrew and screw back in an LED light, but maybe you don't have the skills to change the car oil, for example, where you'd have to hire an auto body shop to be able to do it. So you want to make sure that your project is viable from start to finish, and it's not going to end up on a list of uncompleted projects. The next part of this is identifying distractions presently in your life. And I've made a list of 4 to consider. Are other commitments going to prevent you from completing this project? Are you overextending yourself? Are you violating a one in, one out policy by moving on to the next project prematurely? And is this a knee-jerk reaction to something or a genuine desire to purpose? So, if you're looking at a craft magazine or a woodworking magazine, every now and then you'll have the reaction, boy, that would be neat to do, and then whatever project's there. That's what I mean by a knee-jerk reaction, compared to something that you need and are committed to doing yourself and will enjoy the end of it. The process isn't always enjoyable, but getting to the end usually can be worthwhile. And then the final safety net is your inner circle of friends supportive of you undertaking this project. Do the people that know you, are they going to be supportive of you? And are you able to approach this constructively with friends so they could answer you honestly if this is something you should do or not do? Now, I understand life's not always perfect and there may have been past failure, but sometimes you need to try again. That's perfectly reasonable. But the end goal of all this is that you don't start something without bringing it to completion. The idea is that what you've aimed for, you are going to accomplish if it's broke down over several days. So this is what I work through, some of the times in my head, sometimes on paper. It depends what I'm aiming for at a given time. And I wanted to give this to you as a life skill to help you make the most of whatever's going on in your life. I hope you're doing well. Thanks for this time you spent with me today. Bye for now.